Hey, podcast family! Are you an entrepreneur looking to evolve your current platform? If so, my next guest is here to help. Candace Joseph is the CEO of the Joseph Consulting Firm. She coaches entrepreneurs from start to finish. Candace believes that charity giving should be the foundation for all businesses. She also hosts a weekly radio show called the Business Knowledge Broker Hour with Candace Joseph, where she highlights entrepreneurs and nonprofit organizations. Candace is a dynamic leader in her industry, and she will be here live on Speaking of Love, the podcast, this Saturday at 12 o'clock noon via Facebook Live. We hope to see you there. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I am super excited to be here today. Welcome to Speaking of Love, the podcast. And my name is Latoya, and I am the host of this podcast show. And this show is all about spreading love. And I am so happy to be here. I have an amazing guest today. Her name is Candace Joseph. She is the CEO of the Joseph Consulting Firm. She coaches entrepreneurs from start to finish, and she believes that charity giving is the foundation for all businesses. Welcome, Candace Joseph, to Speaking of Love.
Thank you, Latoya. I really appreciate this. And I just want to say, first and foremost, thank you for giving me this opportunity. But I also want to say thank you to you for doing such an amazing job with your podcast. I just want to make sure that I give you your flowers in regards to that. It's absolutely amazing. And the lives that you're touching, nothing compares to that. So thank you for allowing me to be here.
Well, thank you so much, Candace, for that. That's absolutely beautiful. There's a siren that goes off in my neighborhood every day at around every Saturday at 1 o'clock, and I think the siren is going off now. So please forgive the sound. It'll go away in a moment. Sorry about that.
Oh no problem at all. No problem.
So, Candace, talk to me about you and who you are. How did you start your business?
Well, how I got started was a little bit different than most traditional routes. I am a local Houstonian, born and raised. I went to inner city schools, graduate of Jack Yates High School, moved on to college, and I got my accounting degree from Prairie View A&M University, which is a HBCU. And after graduation, I just kind of floated through jobs. I floated through different careers. My first job was a receptionist. Even with an accounting degree, I was a receptionist. And with that, I decided, I said, okay, I'm 19, 20 years old. Let me sit back and think about all the things that I want to do in my life. And I had some amazing people that, at that time were really pushing me for business. Because when I first got to college, I wanted to be an engineer, So when I graduated college, I went from, different accounting jobs and different things. But I did a lot of volunteer work, along the way. I held a lot of resume writing classes. I used to coach people on how to get through the job interview. And it was amazing. It was an amazing ride. And with the consulting, that came about for years. That was like over 10 years worth of, hey, I need a favor. Hey, do you know how to do this? Hey, do you know how to do that? And, over the years when people ask me if I knew how to do websites, or I know how to do logos, or I know how to do graphics, or, hey, do you know how to write a grant? I would take those, I would take classes. I would go to classes. I would go volunteer places. I would do a lot of things to learn different skills. And I just did it my way. And each job that I had, I made sure that the skills were stackable to the next. I I went to countless things. I watched a lot of videos. I read books from the library. If someone in the community was having a free workshop, I attended those as well. I did everything that I wanted to do. And one day I decided, well, I'm doing 2 or 3 jobs a month anyway for different business owners.
Mm-hmm.
Me go in, and sometimes I would do it just on a volunteer basis. Work on their companies on Saturdays or Sundays, or after I get off of my 9 to 5 job, I would go and put in hours at different places, law firms, clinics. Yeah, I've done some things, and when I got burned out from accounting, I went the education route, and I taught school for a few years, and it was great.
That's wonderful, Candace. I understand that you have a passion for helping entrepreneurs. Can you tell me about that passion and where it comes from?
Growing up, I saw my parents, helping other people with things that they were doing. And my dad was very instrumental in that because, he would take me along for the ride. Hey, go with me, I'm going to this guy's business and they're asking me some questions. And, I know you're more up to date on things that's going on with current law and accounting practices. So you go with me. And it started like that. And then I've had other, mentors over the years. Ms. Ruby Laney was one. She was the one that told me at 20 years old, hey, one day you're going to have your own company. You're going to do big things. And, at 20 years old, you're trying to party. I didn't think about it in that light because in my 20s, I was a traveler.
Okay.
I worked and then I traveled to different cities. And, I loved it. Going to different banquets and doing different things and meeting people of all walks of life, all, industries. And it was just something that appealed to me. So from there, it just gravitated. And one day I said, okay, I'm going to start my firm. And I did that. And over the years, I've gained team members, and it's been a great ride.
Yes, Candace, I have read so many wonderful things about you and what you've done. And right now we're in the middle of a pandemic. Why do you feel that entrepreneurship is important at this time in our lives?
We're going through what we see as a revitalization of small business. People that, have lost their jobs, layoffs, furloughs, whatever, whatever it may be. Now they have that time to tap into the spirit of something that they wanted to do. And it's like, yeah, it came out of, a worldwide pandemic that we didn't see coming that affected, social life as we know it. It affected financial life as we know it. And it definitely affected business and jobs. So, I love it. And it makes my heart sing to see people that, yes, even though these are, desperate times or hard times, people are using, the, essence and the genesis, I say, as their small business endeavors. They're going into it, and it's amazing to see what some of these people are pulling out. I was looking at some of my friends on Facebook like, I didn't know you sew. I didn't know you cooked. I didn't know you wrote books. Okay, well, I've been asking for guests to come on my radio show. Where have you been?
Yeah.
So I think that sometimes hard times pull out the best in people, and it pulls out our creative sides even more. So I absolutely love small business. I love the surgence of it. I love the energy that's around it now, because without these, think about it, all the conglomerates that we go to, from grocery stores to wholesale stores to the big supers, the super centers, right? They're all fueled by products that were made from small business owners.
Yes, they are.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. And then, now with the teenagers and kid entrepreneurs, because I've been stating for years, community centers are, defunded now. We don't have a lot of activities for young people to get into. So to see the surgence of small businesses, even in teenagers and little kids, it's amazing.
Yes, it is. So, Candace, what would you say is the first step that an individual should take who may be considering becoming a small business owner? What does that look like for you, that first step?
The first step is, first of all, believing that you can do it. I think that's really the first step. You can do it. It doesn't matter if you're offering a product or a service. You have it. You have that energy in you to pull it out to make it happen. Of course, then, I can go into consulting mode and say, okay, make sure that you know if your product is something that people want. When you start a business, you are basically trying to solve a pain or a problem. So make sure that what you're offering is something that people need.
Yes.
And especially during these times, I've seen people create hand sanitizer that I didn't even know, that you can do all these great things with plants and, so make sure that what you're offering is something that's needed. Make sure there's a market for it. Make sure you can sell it, and go into those steps. Register that business name, get that RSEIN number, get those bank accounts set up. A lot of people, first thing they tell me, oh, well, I want my logo to look like this. And I'm like, have we registered our name yet? Have we taken those official steps? Have you looked at the city and state regulations in regards to what you're trying to do to make sure you're compliant? Because I'm a compliance person. So make sure all of those steps are taken first, as you go into it, because small business is exciting. When you have an idea, it's exciting, and I tell people all the time, when you wake up with it on your mind, you go home with it, you at your 9 to 5, and you sit there at the lunch table and you're thinking about what you want to do. If it's something that's playing in your head like a movie, do it. But you have to make sure that you have that in yourself, because if you don't believe in your product, who's going to buy it?
Nobody. So, Candace, can you give us an example? You have helped so many people build their businesses, get their lives off the ground. Can you give me an example of someone that you helped from start to finish become successful in their business?
I can. I'll tell you about my first client. My first client was brought to me by a friend of mine, Daphne Babin. Daphne Babin Coleman, I'm sorry. I renewed their vows last week. And she called me up and she said, hey, I have a friend that's trying to open up a home cleaning service. And this was back in 2002, 2003. And I was like, oh, okay, well, what do they need help with? She was like, everything. And I was like, everything? She's like, yeah, everything. So I with a lady out in Cypress, Texas, and her home service is still there. And, we went through those tug of war things like, hey, I'm telling you, this is what has to be done. This is how you should market. This is what your flyer should look like. This should be your pricing structure. We went through those battles, but what I learned at that moment was I couldn't just tell someone what to do, and I couldn't just say, do this. I had to actually explain why, and had to explain what significance it would make on their company. And they're still successful to this day, and they still use the exact same logo I created back in 2003. So it's amazing to see that you assist people to grow in something that they didn't think that they can do. And a lot of times people just need someone to believe in them to push their mission forward or to push their dreams forward, and I've just decided since then I was going to do that and do that for the rest of my life.
Wow. So you have dedicated your life to this purpose. And that is so amazing to me, Candace. You are such a beautiful person, your spirit. And for you to help people achieve their dreams, that's just amazing to me. And one of the things I admire about you, Candace, is the fact that you believe that businesses should be founded on the premise of giving back, helping others, charity love. I know me myself, I have a homemade based business, and I have built my business around dedicating my love and my services to others. To me, my business is not about making money, it's more so about spreading love. And it seems like you have that very same philosophy. So, talk to me about where that love and that passion and that philosophy comes from. Why do you believe that charity giving should be the foundation for all businesses?
Well, I look at it in a context of reaching back. You know, first and foremost, when you're when you're a business owner, the community in which you decide to place your business or that you live, or the community, your network, those are people that are basically funding your company. Like they're funding your household, they're funding, you know, how you pay your bills every month, right? So I believe that any entrepreneur should always think about, you know, yeah, they tell you, oh, find your niche, find your market. Yes. But at the same time, if you're building a company just based on the premise that of getting profits, you're not serving the people that pay you. So why not invest part of your profit back into the community that pays you? You know, we have to think about that. It's the same thing. If I said, okay, you have to have a product someone believes in, but you also have to have a vision for people to believe in as well. Because without any vision of on a bigger scale, any business, whether small or big, will fail. We have to remember that at the end of the day, it's about the human connections we make. When someone serves a good plate of food, they want people to come back, you know? So why not give back?
Yes, they do.
That show you love by patronizing you in the first place. And how is it that we can encourage our youth to go into different fields if we're not volunteers within the community to help them learn that skill set? You know, so I believe that a company without a vision of community service will fail, because the community is going to make or break your company.
Now, who are some of the charities that you work with?
You know, I have always been a very strong component of March of Dimes. And I help my sorority locally with March of Dime, you know, fundraising efforts. I do it through Facebook. I do it personally. You know, I'm the person that will go house to house and collect a jar of change, you know, for a charity. I would do that. You know, March of Dimes is one. I was someone who, when I was born, I was a preemie. I was 1 pound, 13 ounces. And, you know, my family remembers, you know, individuals that were linked with March of Dimes being there for them while they were in the NICU. And, you know, hey, you know, you have a kid that you don't know is going to survive, you know, and 41 years later, I'm still here. My family annually gives to March of Dimes. Locally in Houston, I work with Revive and Restoring Pearls. I work with, you know, these are just charities that I either push, fund, help market, or I create certain things for them. Dad Chronicles is one. I'm a big pusher and fundraiser for Collaborating Voices. That's locally here in Houston. And, you know, I do stuff for different, you know, religious organizations as well. Anything that I see, I'll back it. You know, I'm a person, if I see a charity that's struggling with marketing efforts or to get their social media likes up to get more publicity, I'm a person, hey, I'm going to tell people, tag this, spread the love, let's keep going. You know, so those were just some of the local in Houston, but I help other charities as well. I just finished last month fundraising efforts with First Class Divas and Duns out of Dallas, Texas, with Miss Sabrina Calloway. I helped them fund and gain, you know, get some fundraising efforts going and bring more light to autism awareness with the Autism Treatment Center of Dallas, Texas. You know, you have to, it's not really so much about like getting a charity. You have to get behind a charity that you believe in and that
Yes.
you have some type of personal touch and connection with. And there are wonderful charities here in Houston. There are a lot of organizations that do well. You know, Niecy Hamilton, she's a she's a sex trafficking victim, and she goes out and she gives these wonderful speeches in regards to that. She's someone that really I follow and admire. And anytime she has something out there, I try to put it out there or support any kind of way I can. Sometimes people think that support is monetary, but a lot of people don't realize, even with charities, you helping them become visible is a part of helping them grow bigger and get their message out there. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
for me, I like to get involved with things that I know that I can either lend a personal touch to, something that people have, I can relate, or family members have gone through, friends have gone through, or things that I read about that strike a chord in me. Because I'm a person, and I think it comes from me being a Buddhist, and I believe that we should do whatever we can to bring about world peace and also eliminate human suffering. So
Yes.
I think that plays a part in why I select certain things and certain people. And I'm a person, really, truthfully, I like to find the hidden gems.
Yeah, and you are definitely a gem. You are definitely a rare jewel in our world today, and I just appreciate you so much. Everything that you stand on is valuable, and I want you to know that when I first saw you here on Facebook and I was learning more about you, and I go, wow, she really gives back. And you don't find that very often. So many times people are caught up in their own desires and not really here for the benefit of others, but here for themselves. So thank you for that, Candace. Thank you so much.
Thank you for saying that. I'm just a believer in, I was always told from my family and, my grandparents, like, if someone believes in greatness in you, show that greatness that they see, show it to others. So why not spread that same love?
Yes.
And I get what you were saying about like people, wanting to, because according to a lot of people, I'm a small fry in a big pond. But I believe I'm a small fry that makes a big impact in a larger pond. So we have to
Mm-hmm.
look at, people, communities that are overlooked, businesses that are overlooked, people that are overlooked, that are doing good things. And I know what it's like to be an underdog. I know what it's like to be that person that people discount and count out and don't really look at, period, as being someone of value on any
Yeah.
scale. So for me, I'd rather bring and uplift those individuals and put them in that spotlight and make sure that people know that they exist, because it's like we're all given a purpose in our life, regardless of what avenue it takes us down. From the moment we're born with something,
Mm-hmm.
and more than just, the fingerprints, the hair, the external things that people see. We have to look into who individuals are. So I
Yeah.
don't get behind any individual that I can't back or that I can't stand in front of a crowd of and be proud of who they are.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So, and I work it the same way with charities I work for, and I do the same thing with clients. If I have a client and they do not serve the community, they are no longer my client. If I
Okay.
have a client that is unethical or I think is doing, unethical things, not compliance in regards to employees, they're no longer my client, because I can't stand behind someone and push them to their greatness if they're not great already.
Yes. What's the point of having morals if you don't want to stand up for them?
Yeah.
So, getting back to the charity giving, Candace, at what point do you recommend that entrepreneurs begin the process of charity giving in their business?
Day one.
Day one.
And
Mhm.
don't wait until you become a business owner. The whole thing about it is that we're all in this incubator, truthfully, called Earth. If you think about it, it's a self-contained entity. We're here. and we're something, we're part of this galaxy, we're part of this universe. So, the every day you can do charity work every day. It doesn't matter. It could be a food can drive. It could be a, blanket drive for the winter for the homeless. It could be for your next door neighbor that doesn't have enough money to pay their light bill.
Yeah.
You don't wait to show charity until you have a business. And sometimes people don't realize your presence to assist those charities and those nonprofit organizations. That is something that they need. They need volunteers.
They do.
A lot of people do things for the glitz, the accolades, the fame, the whatever they think that can come with it. I'm a plain Jane person. Hey, I'm a 41-year-old woman that walks with a cane. I'm a little bit on the short stature side. Everybody in my family is over 6 feet tall, but I'm the oldest and I'm the boss. So that's that. You start every day.
Yeah.
Every time you wake up, you're thankful, and it doesn't matter. People think that, well, I don't know if I have the skill set to help this charity, or I don't know what can I do to help this charity. Be present. Call them, ask them what they need. And sometimes it could be you taking a phone call, you sitting there and you're their receptionist and you're taking calls for them that day. We all have to help each other with our bottom line. And right now is a perfect time to do it and make those connections. And sometimes people, you're a business owner, you're busy. You're busy. You're being rolled into one, including counselor to your, team, right? But at sometimes we have to put that break on, and we have to say, what can we do within the community that we live and love and support us to help them be great?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Start every day. Every day is a day that you could give. It doesn't matter if you have a business, if you're someone sitting at home, if you're someone that has an extra 2-3 hours a day, instead of, putting on that TV or, going through all the celebrity gossip on social media, contact the charity, get involved. Doesn't matter, business owner or not, get involved.
Yeah. Now, Candace, you described yourself as being small or short, but you have built a very big, successful life for yourself. And I want to know, Candace, how do you describe success? What's your definition of success? That's a tough one, isn't it?
I think, honestly, my definition of success is very simple. Simply someone telling me thank you. I'm not a person that looks at money as success. I don't look at popularity as success. And I think for me, if I can make a difference and someone simply says thank you, that's enough.
You're successful. Wow.
Yeah, that's enough. Thank you. Thank you is enough. And I think for me lately, I've been giving out a lot of thank yous to people. A lot. Yeah. I get what you're saying. Like, a lot of things have been coming my way and my face has been a little bit of everywhere. And I use those platforms because I'm an introvert. I'm a little awkward. I'm that person that, in a dinner party, I'll bring up random facts about ice that people didn't know, that kind of thing. But I use these platforms to really push the agenda of small business and giving. Because when you give freely, everything that you want can absolutely come your way.
Yes.
I'm a modest person. I live on modest means. I take care of my parents. I take care of my family. And I give what I can of my time and of myself and of my resources. And for me, thank you is the success.
Yes, that's your definition of success. Yeah. So, Candace, this program here that I have started is all about love. And I have to ask you the $1 million question on this show. Speaking of love, how do you define love?
Oh, that is $1 million question. I think I define love simply as if we're talking about like within ourselves, like if I'm talking about me,
Yeah, yeah, not like a romantic love, but just love, a universal love.
Knowing who you are, standing in your truth, and being accountable for who you are, and making sure that you do the things that you need to do in regards to self-care and preventative things in regards to health and wellness. I think that's love.
Mm. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Because you can't give of something you don't have on your own. So if you don't love yourself and take care of yourself, what good are you to anyone else?
On any level.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes to anybody that's working, anybody that's, even if you're not an entrepreneur, if you're a 9 to 5er, you have to love what you do. You have to look at it beyond past the paycheck. You have
Yes.
to think about what you're putting in your own quote unquote happy bank. You have to look at like it beyond that. I tell people all the time, when no matter what's going on, if you're having a chaotic day or someone made you mad or something, you're going through a tough mental period, try to find that one thing of beauty during the day. It could be you riding and you're sitting in bumper to bumper traffic and your favorite song comes on and you're nostalgic and you're thinking about the 90s when you used to wear cross colors and, big fat jeans and, find the beauty in the day. It could be
Yeah.
something in nature. It could be a baby's smile and laugh. It could be, you're going into a bookstore and they finally have that favorite book that, book you've been waiting on, find the beauty in something. And sometimes if it's just you staring in the mirror at you, being thankful that you were here today to be present, you know, sometimes that's it.
And Candace, you bring up a very good point about loving what you do, having a job, a nine to five, whether you're an entrepreneur, whatever you're doing, make sure it's something that you love, because no man is successful in business unless he loves his work. And a lot of times we can be so stuck in a position or stuck doing a job that we don't love. And if we don't love what we do, it doesn't bring out the best in us. I mean, I know for me, working with children, I love it. It automatically brings out the best in me, and that makes me succeed in it because it's something that I love. So don't ever pick a profession or a job just for the sake of making money, because you won't be happy. Do it because it's something that you love to do, and do what you love, and then the money will follow later. That happens as well.
And I will be that person to tell you that I'm a realist as well. Some people will take a job out of necessity. That's true. You know, sometimes we have to take those jobs to take care of our family, to make sure we have medical insurance, make sure we can, do the things that we need to take care of our basic needs. Yes, but at the same time, while you're there, even if it's not something that you love, show pride within it.
Yes.
And put yourself in a position of where you can look at your own strengths and weaknesses and think about what skill level can I gain from this job that I can put on my resume to maybe get me the one that I really love. You have to take every opportunity as you get it. It doesn't matter if you like the job, love the job, have pride in the job, respect the job, and do the work, because a lot of times we forget that sometimes you have to go through those periods where you have to put your head down and you just have to grind it out.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell people straight up, if you're working a job, if you're a 9 to 5er, you're working a job and you want more, you want a different title, a different position. It could be within that company, another company, it doesn't matter, right? I think that if you use your 9 to 5 to fuel your dream and to fuel that energy, yeah, you worked your 8 hours. What you doing with the rest?
Yeah.
What are you doing with the rest to make you a better you? And I tell people all the time, take advantage of free seminars. If you're not a computer person, your local library has an online class on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Hint, hint, because they do in Houston. Get online and learn those skills.
Yeah.
YouTube is your friend. Don't go on YouTube or any of these other mediums and just look at the funny stuff. Look at the educational stuff too. It'll take you further. LinkedIn has platforms for learning. You hear all of these universities that have these MOI classes that you can take through, Harvard and MIT and, and those are Ivy League. But then the HBCUs, they have the same opportunities.
Yes.
And the thing about it is too, you never know what wisdom or knowledge you will gain anywhere that you are at any job level, career level, entrepreneurship level. You never know what you can gain from the people that's around you. Soak it in.
Mm-hmm.
Take advantage, soak it in, and get yourself to where you want to be.
Speaking of soaking in and taking things from those around you, do you have someone in your life, past or present, that really inspired you to be who you are today?
So if we're talking about the past, I can look at my, the ancestors in which I came from. My grandparents and great grandparents, they were people that were sharecroppers and people that did not always have everything that they needed to have a comfortable life. And I love the fact that within each generation of my family, I could see a progression from, from slavery all the way through. Because it took me about 10 years to research the genealogy of my family. And me being someone that want to spread greatness, I always look for greatness. What's the greatness that's out there? Was the greatness within my own family? But what I noticed was along the lines of my family, every generation became greater in education or opportunity, or even the jobs that they had and where they gave to the community. I found articles from the 30s and 40s, from my great grandparents giving to the local churches and holding Thanksgiving dinners for the neighborhood, and making sure that people in the neighborhood knew about what was going on in the news, and they sold newspapers. And my great grandfather, was out of Celeste, Texas. He was the local trash guy, but he gave great advice to other people that pushed them into going into business or going to college, getting that next level education. And every generation is just great. And I made sure that I pass it on to the generations that have come behind me. So I always, my grandparents, my great grandparents, they were the foundation because they were the ones that gave my parents life. So presently, my parents are really my inspiration. My mom and dad, they're both now retired from 40 years of government work each. And
wow.
I just look at every day as I look at the sacrifices that they made for me as a kid, making sure that, yes, they were parents that could live in any neighborhood in Houston because of their financial, abilities through their jobs, but they made sure that we lived in an inner city in the neighborhood in which my dad grew up in, to never forget where we came from and to always remember that community is everything. So I dedicate every day to them, that I get up and work. I dedicate every day to Ruby Laney, who is my best friend, Sharita Laney Guillory's mom. She passed away a few years back, but she was a businesswoman, and she took me everywhere. She bought me my first suit that wasn't black. And she did. And she taught me what shade of red is complementary to my skin. And she took me everywhere as her assistant. So every day that I wake up and I'm successful in business, and as I get certain, recognition from people, I think about them every day. And, I think about my best friends that have backed me financially over the years. Brandy Cambrick, Sharita Laney Guillory. I look, my best friend Prathia Walker Bird, Daphne Babin. I look at these great people that have come in my life, and they're awesome. John Grimwald and Ann Osugi, they were the catalyst of me getting into tax and learning about tax and learning about different industries. And they taught me, from a young age. And I love the village that I came from. They gave me books to read. They, gave me books on Nelson Mandela, Malcolm X, Toni Morrison. My cousin Consuela Axel, she's someone that's like an artist. She does visual art, she does poetry. She taught me about Nikki Giovanni and Heron Scott Gill. You can't, every day you wake up, you never know who's going to be those inspirational sparks, and they are the people that I get up every day and I make sure that I go hard. I give hard, I work hard, and I love hard. And that's all I know to do. My godparents, Paula Crawford, Ruben Joseph, they pushed me to greatness. And anything that my whimsical, free spirit mind thinks of, everybody just say, okay, we'll just do it. We got you. If you need anything, we got you. We're here. And that is something that I can never, every day I get up and I try to think about, I need to make sure that love that they gave me, I give to others.
Well, that's wonderful, Candace. Now, is there something that you do every morning when you wake up as a ritual to help you have a great day?
I do have a ritual. I do. First thing when I wake up and before I even put my feet on the ground, I look at the ceiling and I think, okay, today is a new 24/7. And I said out loud, what are you going to do with it? And I put my feet on the ground. I'm a Buddhist. I do my Buddhist prayer. And then I grab the list that I wrote the night before, because I'm a list writer. And I think about the things that I need to get to people quickly. And, I do that. I grab my cup of coffee and I put on the same song every day, is James Brown and Fred Wesley, Doing It to the Death, part 1 and part 2.
Oh my goodness. That is wonderful.
I play it on my radio show too. A lot of people are like, why does she play the same James Brown song every week? Yeah, I do it. I play it on my radio show. And I believe in that. You wake up that energy. You get everything kind of moving and grooving. I walk with a cane, so I can't do no aerobics. So if I can sit in my chair and do my own little imaginary two-step in my head, that's what I'm gonna do.
That's wonderful, Candace. You have an incredible spirit. And that was going to be my next question, was for you to talk to us a little bit about your radio show. You have a radio show. Tell us about it.
I have to say, when I was approached by High Volume Music Radio's owner, Anthony Frazier, me and him have a personal connection. That's my cousin, and he was like, hey, cuz, I'm getting a radio. I'm doing a radio station. You want to have a show? And I was like, huh? And he was like, yeah, when you were on, because he was on another local radio station. He had a show there every Tuesday. And he invited me to be a guest. And it just led to great conversations and me meeting great people there on the air. And, and so he was like, yeah, I think, the information you give out is good. You always help anybody in the family, realize whatever dream they have. And, even if you tell them it's a sucky dream, you come up with a solution. And I was like, okay. So he gave me the opportunity, and I really looked at it as being someone. I know what it's like when you start out in business and you don't have a marketing, a lot of marketing dollars to get in, newspaper print or magazine print, or, have your fancy commercials on someone's radio station. I know what that's like. And I decided that I was going to give out business tips that people can use, and in a, friendly way. And I'm sarcastic. So I have my very dry sense of humor, but I give out the facts. I give out the real about business. And with the entrepreneurs and nonprofits and community people that come on, I wanted to give those, communities that are marginalized the showcase that they need. Because I know what that's like when I first started out in business. People will say, oh yeah, you could come on my podcast and you could come on my show, but it's going to cost you $300 or $400, or, hey, you could put your information on my website, but it's $250 a month. And I knew what that was like, because it's like, okay, if I'm getting into business, the whole point is to get my product or my service out there.
Yeah.
And if we're a part of one world, one earth, one entity, human, why would I charge anybody? I give it away for free. Any entrepreneur, any nonprofit can always come on my show and they can do it for free. And we record it. It's live on the air, but we record it. If they come in studio, we do that. Or if we do something in regards to this medium with a pre-record, we put together a great video and we showcase it on our, Business Hours Broker Hour YouTube channel. But we also give them a copy to use as marketing material. How can you know about greatness if people don't know you're great? And a lot of people put value in the fact if you're on a podcast or if you're on a radio show or you have someone in media's attention. So I decided I would give it, and I would give it freely to get other people to, stand behind other entrepreneurs, other nonprofits, and I'll back them 100%. So it's never a fee on my show, ever.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Now, where is your radio show? How do we tune in?
Okay, so you can tune in several ways, right? The Business Hours Broker Hour does have a Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, all of those great things. We also have a YouTube channel. But the show is on and housed on High Volume Music Radio, which you can go through www.highvolumemusicradio.com, and you can download the app. You can do the app. I always do the replays. I'm on Sunday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And rebroadcast is on Wednesdays from 4 to 6 p.m. But the great thing about that app for High Volume Music Radio, you could go back and replay any of my shows and get that knowledge.
Oh, okay. All right. That's wonderful. Yes, yeah. I'm definitely going to do that when we get off the air. I want to download the app so that I can tune into some of your shows. Candace, you have an incredible career. You have led the pathway for others to follow. You are a living example for all, especially Black women, to follow. And I just admire you, everything that you've done, everything that you've accomplished. What's next for you? What can we expect next from Candace Joseph?
Well, what's next is something big. It's big for me. I believe in showcasing, I showcase entrepreneurs, but I am going to go into the realm of, I already do commercials. I already do all of that kind of stuff already for people, but I'm moving into documentaries and small local shows based on history and current events. So that's the next realm, is documentary film.
Wow, that's wonderful. Yeah. I'm so proud. I don't want to say I'm proud of you because then it makes it seem like I have something to do with your success, but I'm so happy for you. I really am. That is beautiful. And I hope that I can take part in witnessing and viewing the great things that you have coming up here. Candace, I have one more question for you before we end. This has been an incredible interview. I admire you. I just want to know, when the pages of your life have been reviewed, what do you want to be remembered for? What legacy are you leaving behind?
Wow, that's deep. I think at the end of this race called life, I really want to be remembered as someone who was always a friend. I think that's really it. I just want to be known as a good person that's a good friend. That's it.
Well, you and I have developed a friendship today, and I'm thankful to have met you. And I look forward to all of the wonderful things that you have coming up in the future. And I definitely would like to be a part of your show. I would love to come on. And
that was going to be my question. I was going to ask you to say, well, I have a time slot for next week. I would actually love it. And the thing about it is, I would love it even if, in a sense of one day, you coming on and being a co-host with me on air. I would actually love that.
Oh, that would be wonderful. That would be wonderful, Candace. I would love that.
The things that you are doing are awesome. And the thing about it is that we don't, anything that we go through in life, we have to remember that there are others out there that have stories to tell. You know, everybody has a journey, everybody has a story. And why not be the facilitator? Like on your show, you're the facilitator of love. A lot of people don't discuss love. They discuss business, they discuss sports, they discuss fashion, politics, racial inequalities. They discuss all of those things. Like me, I discuss business. You discuss love. You don't generalize it.
Yeah.
You talk about props to me. I admire you.
Oh, well, thank you, Candace. You know,
it's great to see people that are out here giving a piece of themselves to the world. And you do that every week, and you do it daily. You post stuff all the time. And just to let you know, that ice cream sundae you got in the back, I do want to learn how to paint that.
You know what? I got something better for you. I will make you one, a personalized one, and ship it to you. Consider it done.
Yay! Yay! I am very happy about that, because me and my stick figures don't go too far. So yay!
Oh, yes, definitely. I will definitely do that for you, Candace. Definitely. It would be my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm just going to tell you, on, on a business side and a friendship side and all of that, if you need anything, I don't care what it is, you let me know. And I got you for free.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You know, Candace, going back to the free, I have been criticized quite frequently because I do have a home-based business where I have a lot of artwork, and I make door hangers, and I make a lot of cute little things. And I started my business out as a love mission. I was making gifts for teachers that I work with. And every week I would go into the school on Monday morning, and I would have maybe 5 or 6 love gifts, and I would just pass them out. And people would say, "You need to stop giving things away for free. You should be making money. What are you doing?" But I've never been the kind of person that sought after making a lot of money. And I don't know, for some reason, because that was never my focus, I now have a profitable business, and it was based on spreading love. So that's what worked for me. So I think my focus
never change. A lot of times people get into business, they, when they start seeing the financial fruits of their labor, they change as people. You're someone who started it out as giving of yourself freely to make other people smile.
Yes.
And make people have a great day.
Yes.
Keep doing that. I don't care if you make money from it. Keep doing it. Because the things about it is, the things that you're giving to someone is tangible. It's something they can hold, they can feel, they can look at it, they can hold it. They'll always remember that you're the person that created it.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Candace. Thank you. It has been such a pleasure. I bow to your excellence. Thank you so much for coming on to my podcast. This is my 19th episode, and I'm just so thankful that you agreed to be here today. And I love you, my sister. You are my sister. And yes, we have established this connection, and it's going to go much further and much deeper than just this podcast today. So I thank you so much. And before we go, is there anything else that you would like for our listeners and our viewers to know about Candace Joseph?
I have one thing. I was given recently the great honor of being the September 2020 cover for Purpose magazine, and it is the first cover of the very first issue.
Oh my goodness!
The editor-in-chief, Karis L. Reed, she chose me, and I wanted to just really say on this love, this show's about love, and she gave me love. She was okay with me helping on a creative side in regards to highlighting each one of my team members as a part of it, because I'm the cover, I am the face of my company, but my team fuels me, and they believe in me, and they back me on everything, and they're the people that help me bring out the impossible within me. And so I want to thank Carousel really publicly for allowing me to be the first issue of a history making magazine that talks about the purpose within all of us in all industries and all walks of life, no matter what economical, social, economic, whatever education, no matter what background, religion, or whatever. She wants to bring out and tell stories about people that decided that they had purpose and that what they avenues they did. And I am the first cover. I am the first story of this magazine. So, catch that greatness, guys, because it's great. And I'm honored. I've never had someone, I give. So for someone to feature me in something, it's like, wow, okay. So, support small business. She's a local magazine, and support it, encourage it. The first issue, and it's absolutely amazing. It's $5.99 an issue. You could buy it at purposemagazineonline.com. And as soon as you pull up the website, you'll see the face of September 2020 inaugural issue, Candace Joseph.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is so beautiful. Oh my God. Candace, they couldn't have picked a better person. They couldn't have picked a better person. Wow, what an honor. Well, that's just the beginning. You have so many wonderful things coming to you. And I'm not a prophet, but I definitely know greatness when I see it. So you have a lot of great things coming your way. And I just thank you for being here today. And we're going to stay in touch. And for those of you who missed part of the show, the episode will be uploaded to YouTube. You can also stream it on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever you choose to listen to podcasts, we will definitely be there for you to take advantage of. So Candace and I are going to call this a goodbye for now, but we will be back again later. Thank you so much, Candace, for being here, and we will definitely be in touch. And we're gonna talk so I can get your address so that I can send you your hot fudge sundae, your love sundae.
Thank you. Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited about that. I'm excited. Thank you, because that's something that I will hold dear to my heart for the rest of my life.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for watching. This has been Speaking of Love, the podcast, and I will be back next Saturday for my 20th episode. I have to figure out something special to do for my 20th episode. So my 20th episode next Saturday at 12 o'clock noon Eastern Time here on Speaking of Love. I hope you all have a beautiful Saturday. I love you all. Everyone take care. Have a great day, everyone.